Hey, Terrell Collins. She's an all-around great person, extremely funny, worldly known, but you'd never know it, because Caroline Raye is the best friend, the neighbor, or sister you'd want the makers of time to put into your next life. She's the poster child for, what did I do wrong not to have this girl a part of my journey? To be so real, so brilliantly open, and unforgettably caring at the same time. I mean, this is the girl I want to meet before walking into God's office, while he's determining my future. Caroline Raye is my street made of gold.
I have a 4-year-old daughter. Once your child is born, once you have a baby, they're like, here's your baby. Oh, excuse me, I have to press the delete button on anything that's ever happened to you before that you don't remember anything. Whenever I walk in a room, I can't remember why I walked in that room, but I always think there's going to be a clue in the fridge. Like, what's happening? Oh, I'm having a sandwich. I was supposed to call my mother. Arrow, how did you get your name?
It's actually created for my first wife. It was a character in a book.
You are so crunchy granola. I love it. How did you get your name? What did she call you prior to creating your name?
Oh, man.
Pre-Arrow. Well, don't worry. I don't have my reading glasses on, so it could be Robert Redford. This doesn't look like you at all in this picture. You look like Eddie Albert Jr. and Patrick Swayze had a baby in a strange twist of biological magic that they were able to conceive and then have this baby. You look Canadian.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I grew up...
How close to the border were you?
All the time. We were up there in Havre and all that kind of stuff, Kalispell, Glacier, and all that stuff. So we used to watch CJOC out of Edmonton.
Okay, first of all, I, as a Canadian, have no idea what any of the shows you just mentioned were, nor do I know what CJOC is, and I've been to Edmonton once in my entire life. But that was really sweet. You're like, yeah, I did a film up in Canada.
Saskatchewan?
Saskatchewan. It's just Saskatchewan, but I like that you put a little sass in it. Saskatchewan. You made it sound like way more exciting than it was. It's just Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan. It's, there's a city up there called Regina.
That's it. You're reading my mind.
I'm reading. Oh, how typical. A man is thinking of Regina. And look at me. Call me psychic. Wow. I bet there's men all over the world right now thinking of Regina. There's a place called Regina, Saskatchewan. Mm-hmm. And when you're a kid and you learn this in Canadian school, you just think that's the most hilarious day of your life. You're like 12 years old and you're like, there's a city called Regina. Like, we just think that's so funny. So my daughter, at about age 3, she's very articulate. My mother is my daughter was 3 and my mom is close to 80. So I need the combo stroller wheelchair because my parents, they're in opposite directions, and I'm constantly being pulled apart by the two of them. So my daughter, my mom is quite hard of hearing. She's brilliant, but she's quite hard of hearing. So you have to remember, Regina is in Saskatchewan. Little backstory. My daughter comes up to me and she says, Mommy, is it fudgina or pagina? For her particular body part. And my mother screams from the bedroom, it's in Saskatchewan! Isn't that hilarious? All right. I had to explain a lot to get to that story, but
I totally get that because I used to do the commercial for the hockey team up there. It was the Billings Bighorns, and we always took on Regina. So I would always go, Regina, just so I could say it on the radio.
That's hilarious. How about your sweet little Cancer personality just became possessed by the guy who, that's the craziest thing. Say it like that again. Do the Regina. Wow. So that is so crazy. How did you even know that person lurked inside you with that kind voice? I feel like you're going to pull out a guitar and sing Simon and Garfunkel, but then you're Regina. That's amazing. You're like the wrestling guy.
I do wrestling commercials.
You do?
I do. You want me to play you one?
Yeah, I do. Or you could reenact it since it's actually you and you're here. But playing me one is fine. That's good. Live would have been nice. I'm going to be like WrestleMania. Okay, so what'll my wrestling name be? Regina.
You're going to be Regina?
Regina X.
Okay.
Because then that make me the Queen of Regina? That was really good. I like that. Thank you.
So you're Regina X?
I'm Regina X, and I'm going to, and what's your wrestling name? Giant Pussy!
All right, we'll go the Giant Pussy takes on
Okay, good.
Regina X, all right?
Yeah, all right.
Saturday, April 27th, Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Super Brawl, Martinsville Middle School, Martinsville, Virginia. Scheduled to appear, Super Pussy, taking on Regina X.
That was so good. That was so good. I can't believe you can do that. You must have scared your parents when you were a kid. Give me the food now! It's like, oh my gosh, our child's possessed, or he's going to do wrestling commercials one day. Those are the two choices. Wow. That's impressive. No, honestly, how did you know you could do that? Because you have like a gentle voice.
I think what it is just impersonating people.
Here's my impression. Well, Brett Butler, it's very similar to the president. Hey, Caroline, how are you? Yeah, okay. Well, no, that sounds too much like Clinton, who I met, by the way. I performed for him. Just stand up. And he couldn't get to all of it. But President Clinton came over to me and goes, Caroline, I got to tell you, you are really funny. You are so funny. And I said, no, it's not like Brett Butler. I said, thank you so much. And he said, I think you have the hardest job in the world. I said, Mr. President, I think your job is slightly harder. And then I said, but we're both afraid of bombing. And then I was like, why did I say that? No! It's just like the words were hanging there. I was like, oh, take it back! Oh, anyway. No, Brett Butler and I had the same managers 20-something years ago.
Okay.
And they were Australian. And they would, like, you know, the Aussies, they go way up, right? And everything sounds like a question when they're talking. So you never know if they've ever finished talking. And you'd be like, where are you from? Sydney? And you're like, are you from Sydney or not? It sounds like you're asking me. Where are you from? Melbourne? Are you? I don't know. Like, and when you get on the airplane, they're like, they go, how you going? And I'm like, I'm going by airplane. How are you going? Because I feel uncomfortable if we don't even know how we're going. Anyway, I would call up my managers, and they would be like, and I would pretend I was Brett, and I'd be like, hey, it's Brett. Listen, y'all, I really don't want you to represent Caroline anymore because she's nothing but like a dumb blonde, and I think I'm way funnier, and I really don't like you. Anyway, and they go, no, Brett, we won't represent it all anymore. No, and I go, it's me, you idiots. How many times am I going to do this? Like, every day I do this, and every day you go, no, Brett, it's fine. And I'm like, it's me. I am very lucky. I had a daughter, you know, like I said, I gave birth at 44, and there's nothing that's more important or interesting to me than being with her. And I love doing all this, and I love doing stand-up because I really do honestly get such a kick out of it. But there's nothing that I want to commit to more than her until she's older.
Isn't that a great feeling to look in her eyes and see you? Do you see yourself growing back up?
No, I see her father, who I wish would grow up. So, no, she looks a lot like her dad. It's really fun being that age again on some level. Absolutely. Like, all my friends are having midlife crises, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting a divorce, and my parents are sick, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, can you call me back? I'm coloring. Okay. And then we're watching Max and Ruby. So if you could call back in like half an hour, that would be great. It's like a huge gift to have like a little miracle baby in your 40s.
You've actually gone from two different acts of selflessness. You give your comedy, you share your art of communicating with an audience that you don't know, selflessness, and now you have a child, selflessness. You're like a walking angel. Is that totally cancer?
First of all, you are such a cancer. You should come with a box of Kleenex. You are just the most sensitive. You're all about your emotions. You know what? Motherhood it's about being boss. That's what it is. My daughter, when she was little, she had the personality of a Russian gymnastics coach. No matter what I would do or say, she was like this. Again! I'm like, I don't want to read this book again! You know. I don't think you're selfish. I think I'm very lucky. I don't ever... No, I'm going to sound like a nut. I don't ever feel like anybody in the audience is a stranger. I think it's what we have in common that makes it interesting.
Yeah.
I had to follow George Bush Sr. once to a group of, like, Republican women. And let's just say we were not on the same page in that way. And I thought, I am going to bomb so badly. And it was one of my favorite shows ever because it's, you know, we have way more in common than we think. It doesn't matter about your politics or whatever. So that's what I think is interesting about doing stand-up. I got very serious and very boring and blah, 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 blah. That's why vote for me. After so many years of doing this, people are like, well, describe your act. And I'm like, I really can't. I think I'm pretty organic. I always feel like I'm having a dinner party, and these are my guests, and what we're going to serve is what we make together because it's going to be whatever the audience is. But truly, this happened, and it was a guy in the audience. He got every joke that I said, every innuendo, and I said at the end of the show, sir, you're my favorite audience member I've ever had. You're the best audience member. You got every joke. Where are you from? And he said, I don't speak English. And I was like, oh, my God. And then he said, but you're funny like a clown. Like a clown. And I was like, wow, I'm human connection. It's like a really fun thing for me.
Is that an addiction to you, to have that human connection?
Well, human connection is an addiction. Otherwise, it'd be like, alone building a bomb in the woods. But
we do that in Montana.
yeah, I know you do. But your hair looks so much better up close. No, if I have that need, yeah, I think that if it's something I can offer, I think nobody's like, if everybody leaves at the end of the show and they're happier, then it's pretty simple. I don't need to, like, I've had a lot of success. I'm not looking for some giant thing at this point. Like, whatever I do, I'm quite happy to do.
Where do you make your home these days? You're not out in L.A., are you?
No, I hate Los Angeles. I really do.
Just bad food?
It's not. No, it's that, first of all, I can't merge. So I'm in my. I have to leave my house in the lane that I want to end up in. I cannot merge. You can't get on a highway. You will go on the exit line, whatever thing. I can't merge, and I feel like a giant. I don't know. I just don't like that city. It makes me feel bad.
So, will you please go back and replace Nicki Minaj on American Idol?
Nicki Minaj is quite a creature, isn't she? She is just amazing. I love that she says she doesn't wear wigs. I'm like, really? That's like people who say they don't go to self-tanning booths and they live in Canada and it's like February and they've got a huge tan. I'm like, really? Was it a snow blizzard that got you like that? It's so funny.
Have you ever thought about singing?
I can't sing a note. I can't sing at all.
But you speak in tune.
I speak in tune? Mm-hmm. Never heard anyone say that
Is
to
that
me.
not my biggest speech in this room? You got to see, you're speaking out of tune. You're speaking out of tune. No, you speak very well in tune.
You know what? I think you have the same thing. Like, people always say, what is comedy? Comedy is musical to me. It's very musical, and it's very, like, I'm good at helping other comedians or, like, someone learning because I know when there's too many words. Like, it's like there's not the correct flow. I could help you. But I'm always giving, unsolicited advice. I'm always like, do you want some unsolicited advice? And they're like, okay. But I've never heard that in tune. That's interesting. Can you sing?
I've attempted, but that auto-tune really helped me out a lot. It really did.
Now I realize who you are. You're Jennifer Lopez. That is why you look familiar. You are Jennifer Lopez. I know that cancer relationships never really end, so I have to break up with you now because I have to eat something.
Nice.
Thank you very, very much for chatting with me.
Thank you.
Actress, comedian, Caroline Raye. This week at the Comedy Zone in Charlotte. Get your tickets at cltcomedyzone.com. cltcomedyzone.com.